Hi, it's Karen, and I'm super excited to bring you this video today. I will be using the stamp set called Lighthearted Leaves. It will be available September 2nd, 2015. It's in our holiday collection, and I wanted to just mess around with it to get some ideas for my open house. So I am going to show you something super simple that you can do with it. A lot of times people will say, oh, Karen, I don't have a big shot. I don't have any punches. I don't have any dies. This is a really great thing I'm going to show you today to get different looks and only have a pair of scissors, a stamp pad, the stamp set, an acrylic block, and then a few other tools. So today I am going to be working with my snail adhesive and my early espresso ink pad, my Tangelo twist ink pad, Hello Honey cardstock, and some very vanilla cardstock, and early espresso cardstock. I'm working with a light today because I'm trying to practice for winter when we don't have light for very long. So in an effort to save some time, I did kind of go ahead and do some of it ahead of time. And I'm just going to show you pretty quick how I ended up with all of my components. So I took the Hello Honey and the Tangelo Twist ink, and you're already getting a nice fall color with that. And then I am going to stamp 2 of each color. And in between, I'm just going to wipe off my stamp. On the photopalmers, I tend to only use the water to clean it because it seems that when you use any kind of a like solvent or cleaner or anything like that, it tends to make the stamps cloudy, and I want to always be able to see where I'm stamping. So these pads are not too juicy, and that's the only reason why I'm stamping on top of it. Normally you'd want to stamp from the top down. Just trying to figure out some way to fit in this last leaf. Now I found that with the photopalmer, almost any color that you use will stain the stamp slightly, but that's just from the pigment in the stamp. I don't really like to use StazOn with my my photopalmers. And I'm just going to put my stamp sets away. Then I took my paper snips, and I really like the paper snips are ones from Stampin' Up! Because they're super sharp and they have this super pointy tip on them. And you can see it's very easy to get into tight places because the point is just, it's sharp all the way to the tip. And what I did was I fussy cut these. Now we do have a die that coordinates with this, and you could use that in the Big Shot. But today I'm just going to show you how I cut them with scissors. And a little neat trick that I've learned is that you move your paper, not your scissors. And sometimes I get a thicker border, sometimes I get a thinner border. It just kind of depends on your preference. I do like to leave a little tiny bit of the edge. It just makes it easier for me when I'm cutting. So I'm just going around, moving my paper, getting up close to the edge, not moving my scissors. Around the curves, it works really nice when you just kind of move your paper. And if you can't get in tight, that's kind of where your little pointiness on your scissors comes in. All right, so I have my leaf done. I did that with all four. I cut them that way. And now I'm just going to go in with my little point on my scissors. I'm going to clean that up just a little to give it just a little more definition. And then you can see why I really love these paper snips. All right, and then I got it. All right, you can always cut more away. You just can't put the paper back. So I really recommend that cut bigger than smaller, and you can always go back and fix that. Now, my aunt would like a get well card. I sent her a bunch of cards recently, and she sent me a note and said I really wanted more get well cards. So that was August 1st, and I just got the card. I mean, I didn't just get the card. I just looked at it today. So I guess I'm a little bit behind. So I'm going to show you with Believe, but I'm going to cut out a get well, and then I'm going to switch it out for my aunt. So again, when you're cutting words, I like to just kind of go around it and get all that excess off. And this way is a good way to use up all your little scraps and things. And here I'm going to start on that curve with my scissors open. And I'm just going to swirl around my paper. Look at how nice that turns out. Now along a straight piece, that's where you would kind of open it and do some cutting. And then you're just kind of turning and giving it a little bit of cut at the same time with your scissors. If there were a lot of bumps, I wouldn't be as careful as I'm being. I would just kind of wiggle my scissors and just kind of make it kind of bumpy to go around the curves. And that would look just nice too. But this will kind of remind you of one of the e-cutters when you just kind of cut around the word instead of cutting out all the letters. And you'll end up with this nice little border that'll make your word really stand out. So again, you can see how I'm moving the paper, not so much the scissors. And you can see how nicely that cuts. So I cut a leaf, I cut the word get well. Practice. It really helps. Every time you do it will be better than the last. So here are my pieces. And I'm just going to run my bone folder on it. I washed it today. I was getting like black on everything, so I must have had ink on it. And I'm smoothing down all of my edges. And the reason I do that is just because sometimes when you're using the cutter, I have a fresh strip that my blade goes in, so it makes a little bit of an indentation. And when you cut your cardstock, for those of you who don't know, I take an 8.5 by 11 and I cut it at 5.5 down the 11 side. I score it at 4.25, and that makes a perfect A2 size card, and it comes to 2.5 by 4.25. So it'll fit any of the envelopes at the craft store or our wonderful envelopes that are super high quality. So I have this, and I'm going to work on it going in this direction today. I want it to go landscape. And I am going to take my snail. Now, I went through a whole bunch of different combinations before I came up with the one for this card. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, I don't really like that. So just test other colors and mess around with it and hold it up to each other. And I promise you're going to get the right color. So I ended up going with the Very Vanilla, the Early Espresso, Hello Honey, Tangelo Twist for the ink, Early Espresso for the ink, and I think that turned out really great. Now I am going to attach my leaves. So I want them to kind of all go a little bit different, just a little bit of snail. I'm going to work that into the corner. And this one, I'm going to make it go facing down. This one, I'm going to have it face up, but go the other way. And my last Early Espresso and Hello Honey is going to go down in this corner. So I want to put my 2 corner leaves in first. That will help me space out the rest of them. And he's going to go right there. Now, keeping in mind that I want everyone to go in a different direction, I'm going to lay these out how I'd like them to go. And they don't have to be perfect. The leaf itself is pretty whimsical, so you can have a lot of movement in that, and it's not going to hurt anything. I just didn't want to end up with a lot of brown left over, so that's why I did my 2 corners first. A little bit of snail. Oop, I made this guy face the wrong way. All right, we'll fix that. Now, if you don't load these guys up with a ton of snail, you can lift them and turn it. It's only permanent once you rub it all down and you put a ton on it. So it is going to hold. I don't want you to be worried about that because I did rub on it. And now I'm going to attach that to the front of my card. And I wanted to go a little bit down, making sure that it's even, and I think it is. It's hard to work upside down. Okay, so I had taken the word believe from the stamp set that we're using today, the Lighthearted Leaves. It has a bunch of different leaves on here. It has So Grateful for You, Believe, Every Leaf Speaks, Bliss to Me, Fluttering from the Autumn Tree, and that's from Emily Bronte. I think it's Bronte, maybe Bronte. And then Let Our Lives Be Full of Both Thanks and Giving. So a really great set. You get 10 photo polymer sets. If you don't have acrylic blocks, it does tell you on the front of our thing, this one would need a B block, a D block, and an E block to make sure that you have the right size for all of those. And I hope you'll check on September 2nd. You can check at my website, www.Karin, Karin, Biefeld, Biefeld, .stampinup.com. on September 2nd and order this set. I hope that you've seen that you don't need all the fancy tools that everyone has. So if I were going to make this the card that says Believe, I'd probably bring it down in the corner like that. I would add some dimensionals to pop it up, but I feel really bad that I didn't I read the card. She sent me money. I didn't want her to send me any money. And I just kind of stuck the check back in it. And I was looking at it today. And I was going to call her and thank her. And then I read the message again. So I want to get some nice get well cards out to her right away. And I'm just going to pop that up right there in the corner. And you can see how nice that looks, how simple it was to make, and that you don't need a lot of tools when you're first starting out. I will try to show a few more things from this set in the next few days, but I would like to give you some ideas in the meantime. I took and I stamped this with Memento black ink, and I colored that. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't see it on that one. But I colored this too. I had stamped it with Memento. And I have one more that I did in greens. And you can see how I used that fussy cut to cut out my leaves. So if you have questions, you could leave a comment, or you can click on Contact Me, and I will get you an answer as quickly as I can. And I hope that you enjoyed the card. So have a great day and be creative. Thank you.